Why are you licking your lip?
There came a time in the party where we all went around the table and said our favorite thing about Amber. When it came to Johnny's turn, he told this story about how they first met, about how she came in to his office and she sat on the couch and her perfect ass left a perfect imprint on the couch.
My perfect ass!
Just made breakfast for all of them this morning. Waffles.
In the morning, I'm making waffles.
Back to Kipper for a moment. Do you know if when Dr. Kipper prescribed drugs?
Go! Harder!
And what about with Amber? Did you ever encounter any?
Inhale!
Did Mr. Depp ever tell you that he had a big fight with Amber at any time?
He would mention when shit was rough, yeah.
Is Disney aware that Mr. Depp has testified under oath that he would not take another Pirates of the Caribbean franchise role for $300 million and a million alpacas?
No.
Well, you are now.
But Willy Wonka doesn't matter to you. You see him in that movie, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? Did you look at that one when you were comparing his processing speed?
Do I have to answer that question, Your Honor?
You have to answer questions. Yes, sir.
And Mr. Depp was trying to urinate in the foyer, wasn't he?
No.
Mr. Depp had his penis out of his
Objection.
pants, didn't he?
She played a tape in which Mr. Depp said, "You will not see my eyes again." You recall that?
I do.
Mr. Depp, as far as I could see, always had a cigarette or joint in his mouth.
Good Lord.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about as a color correction kit.
We'll have run all the colors across the screen right there.
Sometimes this pink is sometimes a little bit more purple, and sometimes the kits are 3 colors. You can get them in 3 or 4 colors.
These aren't my colors.
Paul Bettany's a good friend that you've done drugs with, right? That's a strange question.
I don't know. It's kind of a weird question.
If we could please play Plaintiff's Exhibit 397.
For her yoga vlog. We don't think that's what I do.
To the depositions given in this case.
And I apologize for what I said. Then I misspoke.
You misspoke? You didn't make the comparison?
Right now, just a second ago? Just a second ago, I may have said that I misspoke. I apologize, I misspoke.
Okay.
Now, you were asked a number of questions about narcissistic traits and your diagnosis or findings that Mr. Depp exhibited narcissistic traits or had that disorder. Do you recall that testimony?
Yes.
All right. And the question was asked of you of whether if you have 5 of 9 narcissistic traits. Do you remember that testimony?
Yes.
Okay. Now, one of the ones you testified before was for narcissism, it requires admiration, correct?
Yes.
What, if any, record evidence was there that Mr. Depp requires admiration?
The very people that surround him need to admire him or they're no longer in his employment or his working circle.
Okay. The second one that you discussed was sense of entitlement. Do you recall that testimony?
Yes.
All right. What record evidence is there that Mr. Depp exhibits behavior of needing a sense of entitlement?
So, again, thinking that Ms. Heard was marrying him solely for his money and his influence, and that was the case, was, in my opinion, very entitled.
All right. And the third one you discussed was exploitative. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Okay. And what is the record evidence that Mr. Depp exhibits behaviors that are exploitative?
Again, I think the whole concept of abuse is exploitative.
I'm just going to ask you to give the record evidence of Mr. Depp's lacking empathy that you know of.
Yes. Am I allowed to elaborate?
Yes. Just a little different than what you said before.
Okay. So if one does, so I'll make it more direct. So if you're not agreeing with what Mr. Depp has to say, you are no longer useful. Okay. Therefore, you don't really care about others for others. You care about others for your benefit. So often on dismissing Dr. Kipper, for Dr. Kipper setting some boundaries on substance use protocol, substance detox, is an example of lacking empathy and not really caring what other people have to say.
All right. Another one of the characteristics that you cited was envious. Do you recall that testimony?
Yes.
What is the record evidence that Mr. Depp exhibits envy?
I think jealousy is a good start for that. I think that Ms. her wanting to have a career, start with that, beyond what she has, and the jealousy parts of with Mr. Franco and I think others commented this week. Last week Ms. Burstyn commented about things about jealousy. So I think it's pretty apparent.
Okay. And the next one you listed was fragile self-esteem. Do you recall that?
Yeah.
And what is the record evidence of Mr. Depp exhibiting that?
So fragile self-esteem would be more along the line of a cluster B trait. I should put that in. It's not necessarily the criteria for narcissism, so it's a trait. And basically what that means will be that the combination of poor self-control and rapid mood states is fragile self-esteem, fragile personality, so traits. So it go into the line of cluster B rather than per se narcissism.
How I've seen him interact in public. How I've seen him interact with others. I've seen him interact in media. I've seen him interact and his process of speed is certainly not slow. I've seen him do commercials. His process of speed was not slow.
At deposition, didn't you say that what you did was compare Mr. Depp's performance in lots of pirate movies against his deposition testimony here?
What I said was I've seen Mr. Depp do apology ads. I remember he did an apology ad with Bad Dog with no delay in process speed. I've seen him interact with the media regarding to that. I saw no delay in processing speed. All I'm saying.
Let me ask you about pirates, though. You compared pirates to the to the depositions given in this case.
And I apologize for what I said. Then I misspoke.
You misspoke? You didn't make the comparison?
Right now, just a second ago? Just a second ago, I may have said that I misspoke. I apologize. I misspoke.
Okay. Because you know you can't compare pirates to sworn testimony, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But you can. But as an aside, you can judge someone's processing speed at any time. Like I'm judging yours right now. You're judging mine. We all judge processing speed as a baseline because of what we know about each other. I would say your processing speed right now is not slow. So I mean, we're judging processing speed. I'm just saying to you.
Yeah. But no, any of Mr. Depp's other portrayals in movies, did that affect your analysis of processing speed?
Only I've seen him interact on interviews, and that was it.
Right.
When he wasn't in movies.
Right. But Willy Wonka doesn't matter to you? You see him in that movie, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? Did you look at that one when you were comparing his processing speed?
Do I have to answer that question, Your Honor?
You have to answer questions. Yes, sir.
No, you'll be happy to know I didn't see Willy Wonka I didn't see 21 Jump Street when it happened, or whatever it was about. No, I did not.
All right. You made a very kind admission, I think, early on in your deposition, that you're not claiming to be a better actor than Mr. Depp. That's correct, isn't it?
100%.
All right. But with respect to acting, you know that actors actually rehearse for their parts and work on the language, diction, timing of their dialogue as part of that rehearsal?
If you say that's... I'm not an actor, so I don't know what goes on. I can't tell you. I have no idea what goes on in acting.
Okay, but you don't know enough about acting to know whether actors rehearse?
Sir, I am not an expert in acting. I have no idea what an actor does.
Comparing his processing speed.
Do I have to answer that question, Your Honor?
You have to answer questions. Yes, sir.
No, you'll be happy to know I didn't see Willy Wonka
You know whether Marlon Brando used an earpiece?
Isn't he dead?
Yeah.
So the answer is no, he does not use one now. If he was never fed his lines through the earpiece, which I know he was, but read he was, and that may have been that example. Mr. Wyatt may have said that it was music. I guess the question, you are saying that I'm an expert witness. I'm saying as an expert witness.
Let's start with the easy question then. Maybe we can.
That was pretty easy. Go ahead.
All right, Doctor, you're going to have to just answer the questions.
Okay. Sorry about that. Getting into it.
You need to just answer the questions,
Okay.
Dr. Spiegel.
I'm not sure why we're arguing psychiatry, because I'm telling you what it is.
Dr. Siegel, you just need to answer the questions.
Okay.
Mr. Depp fell asleep with ice cream in his hand. That's not vomitous, right?
I was told it was vomitous.
Okay.
We've seen Mr. Depp during this trial doodling and eating candy. What, if any, evidence would that suggest that he has narcissistic traits?
Objection, Your Honor. No foundation.
I'll sustain the objection.
And counsel for Mr. Depp came back and said, are you aware, Ms.